All right, imagine this. You're standing in your kitchen, it's late evening, you open the fridge, and there it is. Cheese, comforting, familiar, something you've eaten your whole life, and you're thinking, I'm over 60 now, but cheese is healthy, right? Calcium, protein, strong bones. What if I told you that some cheeses are silently speeding up inflammation, stiffening your arteries, wrecking your digestion, and even accelerating bone loss after 60, while other cheeses can actually support muscle, protect your brain, strengthen your gut, and help you age slower? And here's the scary part. Most people are eating the wrong ones every single day without realizing it. So if you're over 60 or approaching it, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 4 cheeses you should never touch again and which 4 cheeses you should be eating regularly to support your body, not fight against it. And trust me, one of the healthy cheeses on the no-touch list surprises almost everyone. Now let's talk honestly, like we're sitting together having a real conversation. As we age, our body changes. Digestion slows down, inflammation rises, muscle mass naturally declines, insulin sensitivity drops, our gut becomes more fragile, our arteries don't bounce back like they used to. So foods that didn't bother us at 30 or 40 can suddenly start causing joint pain, bloating, fatigue, brain fog, and stubborn weight gain after 60. Cheese is one of those foods that can either work with your aging body or quietly work against it. Let's start with the cheeses you should never touch after 60. And I don't say this lightly. The first cheese you need to be extremely careful with is processed cheese. I'm talking about cheese slices, cheese spreads, cheese sauce, anything that melts into a perfect plastic-like layer on burgers or toast. This stuff barely qualifies as food. It's loaded with emulsifiers, artificial colors, preservatives, and inflammatory oils. Your gut hates it. Your arteries hate it. Your immune system definitely hates it. After 60, your gut lining is more sensitive. Processed cheese disrupts gut bacteria and increases intestinal permeability, which can lead to chronic inflammation. That inflammation doesn't just stay in your gut. It spreads to your joints, your brain, your heart. This is the kind of cheese that quietly worsens arthritis pain, stiffness, and even memory issues over time. If it comes individually wrapped in plastic and melts unnaturally smooth, your body is paying the price. The second cheese you should avoid is low-fat cheese. This one shocks people because it's marketed as healthy. Low-fat mozzarella, low-fat cheddar, fat-free cheese. Sounds smart, right? But here's the truth. When manufacturers remove fat, they replace it with starches, gums, and additives to keep the texture. Fat is what helps slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar. When you remove it, what's left spikes insulin, increases cravings, and puts stress on your metabolism. After 60, insulin resistance becomes a real issue. Low-fat cheeses can worsen blood sugar control, increase belly fat, and leave you feeling unsatisfied. Plus, many vitamins in cheese are fat-soluble. Without fat, your body doesn't absorb them properly. You think you're doing something good, but your body experiences it as a stress food. The third cheese to be careful with is American-style cheese and heavily refined cheddar blends. Not real aged cheddar. We'll talk about that later. But the mass-produced versions that are designed for long shelf life. These are often high in sodium, artificial dyes, and inflammatory compounds. Excess sodium after 60 can raise blood pressure, strain the kidneys, and increase water retention. Combine that with inflammatory additives, and you've got a recipe for swollen joints, fatigue, and cardiovascular stress. If the cheese looks unnaturally orange and tastes the same no matter where you buy it, that's your warning sign. Now here's the one that surprises most people. The fourth cheese you should limit or avoid after 60 is pasteurized soft cheese made from conventional milk. Things like standard cream cheese, mass-produced ricotta, and many supermarket soft cheeses. The issue isn't softness, it's how they're made. Pasteurization kills beneficial enzymes. Conventional milk often contains hormone residues and inflammatory omega-6 fats from grain-fed cows. These cheeses can be hard to digest, especially if you already deal with bloating, acid reflux, or sluggish digestion. After 60, your stomach acid naturally decreases. That means enzyme-rich, traditionally made cheeses are easier to digest than heavily processed, enzyme-stripped ones. Now take a breath, because this is where it gets good. Let's talk about the cheeses you should be eating, the ones that actually support your body after 60. The first must-eat cheese is aged cheese made traditionally, like real aged cheddar, Gouda, or Parmesan. When cheese is aged properly, something amazing happens. Lactose breaks down, enzymes develop, proteins become easier to digest, and beneficial compounds form that support gut health. Aged cheeses are lower in lactose, which means less bloating and discomfort. They're also rich in calcium and vitamin K2, which helps move calcium into your bones instead of your arteries. That's critical after 60, when bone density and cardiovascular health are both priorities. A small amount of high-quality aged cheese can actually help preserve muscle mass and strength as you age. The second cheese you should eat regularly is goat cheese. Goat cheese is a game changer for older adults. It's easier to digest than cow's milk cheese because the fat globules are smaller and the protein structure is different. If you've ever felt bloated or heavy after eating cheese, goat cheese might change everything for you. It's naturally lower in lactose, gentler on the gut, and less inflammatory. It also contains healthy fats that support brain function and hormone balance. Many people over 60 who thought they were dairy intolerant realize it was cow dairy, not all cheese. That was the problem. The third cheese you should absolutely include is sheep's milk cheese, like pecorino or manchego. Sheep's milk is incredibly nutrient dense. It contains more calcium, zinc, and protein than cow's milk. Sheep's milk cheese also has a better omega-3 to omega-6 balance, which helps reduce inflammation. After 60, chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of pain, fatigue, and aging. Foods that gently lower inflammation without medication are incredibly powerful. Sheep's milk cheese also supports muscle maintenance, which is critical for balance, mobility, and independence as you age. Now, let me tell you about the fourth cheese you should eat, and this one is special. The fourth must-eat cheese is fermented, raw, or traditionally cultured cheese when available. This includes raw milk cheeses or cheeses made using traditional fermentation methods. These cheeses are alive with beneficial bacteria and enzymes. Your gut microbiome controls far more than digestion. It affects immunity, mood, brain health, and inflammation. After 60, supporting your gut is one of the most powerful things you can do for your overall health. Fermented cheeses help restore beneficial gut bacteria, improve nutrient absorption, and reduce digestive stress. Many people notice better energy, less bloating, and even improved mental clarity when they switch to traditionally made cheeses. Now, here's something most people never think about. It's not just which cheese you eat, it's how much and how you eat it. After 60, cheese should be a supporting player, not the main character. A small portion of high-quality cheese paired with fiber, protein, and healthy fats works beautifully. Cheese eaten alone, late at night, or in large amounts can slow digestion and disrupt sleep. Quality always beats quantity. Instead of eating a pile of cheap cheese, eat a small piece of real cheese and actually enjoy it. Your body recognizes real food. And one more thing I want you to hear clearly. You don't need to fear cheese. Fear comes from confusion. When you understand how your aging body responds to food, you gain control again. Cheese can either inflame you or nourish you. It can either drain your energy or support your strength. The difference is in the type, the quality, and the awareness. If you're over 60 and still eating processed cheese, low-fat cheese, and heavily refined supermarket cheese every day, your body is constantly fighting a silent battle. But when you switch to aged goat, sheep, and traditionally fermented cheeses, even in small amounts, your body starts working with you instead of against you. I've seen people reduce joint pain, improve digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and even feel mentally sharper just by making this one change. So the next time you open your fridge, pause for a second. Look at the cheese you're about to eat. Ask yourself, is this feeding my health or just my habit? If this video helped you see cheese differently, make sure you support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this with someone over 60 who still thinks all cheese is the same, because it's not. And the right choices today can change how strong, mobile, and energized you feel years from now. As we get older, the idea that more is better slowly stops working, especially when it comes to food. And cheese is one of the clearest examples of this. After 60, your body no longer responds well to large portions, heavy digestion, or constant metabolic stress, even if the food looks healthy on the surface. What starts to matter far more is how a food interacts with your hormones, your gut, your inflammation levels, and your ability to repair and renew cells. This is where small daily portions of the right cheese can quietly support longevity, while the wrong types, especially in excess, can speed up the aging process without obvious warning signs at first. Longevity is not about extreme restriction or eliminating foods you enjoy. It's about reducing chronic stress inside the body. Every time you eat something, your body has to process it, digest it, absorb it, and clean up after it. When that process is smooth, your body has more energy left over for repair, immune defense, and brain health. When that process is difficult, inflammatory, or blood sugar spiking, your body shifts into survival mode instead of repair mode. After 60, the margin for error becomes smaller, which is why portion size and food quality suddenly become powerful tools rather than minor details. Cheese, when eaten in small amounts and chosen wisely, can act like a concentrated source of nutrients that your body can actually use. It provides protein to slow muscle loss, fat to stabilize energy, minerals to support bones, and bioactive compounds that help regulate inflammation. But cheese eaten in large amounts or made the wrong way becomes a digestive burden. It lingers in the gut too long, feeds the wrong bacteria, thickens the blood, and creates low-grade inflammation that quietly accelerates aging from the inside. One of the biggest mistakes people make after 60 is assuming that if a food is natural or traditional, the quantity doesn't matter. Even healthy cheese is still dense. It's rich, concentrated, and slow digesting. Your body doesn't need large portions to get the benefit. In fact, large portions often cancel out the benefit entirely. A small daily portion sends a signal of nourishment. A large portion sends a signal of overload. When you eat a small piece of high-quality cheese, your digestion stays calm. Your blood sugar remains stable. Your insulin response stays gentle. Your gut bacteria process it efficiently instead of struggling. This creates a metabolic environment where your body can focus on maintenance and repair rather than damage control. Over time, that difference adds up in ways people often don't connect to food choices like better joint mobility, clearer thinking, steadier energy, and fewer inflammatory flare-ups. On the other hand, the wrong cheese, even in moderate amounts, can do the opposite. Highly processed cheeses, enzyme-dead cheeses, and cheeses made from poor quality milk require more digestive effort and create more waste products inside the body. This waste has to be cleared by the liver, kidneys, and immune system. After 60, those systems still work, but they work slower. When they are constantly overwhelmed, aging speeds up, not because of time, but because of accumulated stress. Small daily portions matter because they respect the rhythm of the aging body. Your stomach acid is lower than it used to be. Your enzyme production is reduced. Your gut lining is more sensitive. A small portion of the right cheese fits into this reality. A large portion fights against it. Longevity is not about eating less of everything, but about eating the right amount of foods that cooperate with your current biology. Another overlooked aspect is how cheese interacts with muscle preservation. After 60, muscle loss becomes one of the strongest predictors of frailty, falls, and loss of independence. Protein is essential, but protein that spikes insulin or causes inflammation is not helpful. Small portions of the right cheese provide slow-releasing amino acids that support muscle repair without overwhelming digestion. This is especially important when cheese is eaten alongside vegetables or after light activity when muscles are more receptive to nutrients. The wrong cheese, especially eaten in large quantities, can actually interfere with muscle health by increasing inflammation and insulin resistance. When insulin resistance increases, nutrients don't enter muscle cells efficiently. Instead of being used for repair, they circulate longer in the bloodstream, contributing to fat storage and metabolic stress. Over time, this creates the appearance of eating enough protein but still losing strength. Longevity is also deeply connected to brain health, and this is another place where small daily portions of the right cheese can help rather than harm. Certain traditionally made cheeses contain fats and compounds that support nerve insulation and neurotransmitter function. In small amounts, these fats help stabilize mood, support memory, and provide a steady energy source for the brain. The brain thrives on consistency, not spikes. Highly processed cheeses and large portions, on the other hand, can create inflammation that crosses into the brain. This doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly. People often notice it as increased brain fog, slower recall, or feeling mentally tired after meals. They rarely suspect cheese as a contributor because the effect is subtle and cumulative rather than dramatic. Gut health plays a central role in whether cheese supports longevity or accelerates aging. The gut is not just a digestive tube, it is an immune organ, a hormone regulator, and a communication hub between the body and the brain. Small daily portions of the right cheese can feed beneficial bacteria, especially when the cheese is traditionally cultured or aged. These bacteria produce compounds that reduce inflammation and strengthen the gut lining. The wrong cheese feeds the wrong microbes. It encourages bacterial imbalance, gas production, bloating, and low-grade immune activation. Over years, this constant immune activation ages the body faster than almost anything else. It drains energy, increases pain sensitivity, and weakens resilience. Again, portion size determines whether the gut experiences nourishment or stress. There is also the issue of calcium, which many people focus on after 60. Cheese is often eaten in large quantities because of fear around bone loss. But calcium alone does not protect bones. In fact, excess calcium without proper regulation can contribute to arterial calcification. Small portions of the right cheese provide calcium in a balanced matrix with fats and vitamins that help guide calcium to the bones where it belongs. Large amounts of poor quality cheese flood the system with calcium that the body cannot properly direct. Over time, this can contribute to stiff arteries rather than strong bones. Longevity is not just about living longer, but about maintaining flexible blood vessels, strong circulation, and efficient nutrient delivery. Another factor that makes small portions powerful is how they affect appetite regulation. As we age, hunger and fullness signals become less precise. Highly processed cheeses are engineered to override satiety signals, encouraging overeating. Small portions of real cheese trigger satisfaction without overstimulation. You feel nourished rather than driven to keep eating. This satisfaction effect matters because constant overeating, even of healthy foods, keeps the body in a fed state. Longevity is supported by metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch between fed and fasting states smoothly. Small portions of nutrient-dense foods allow this flexibility. Large portions eliminate it. Daily habits shape aging more than occasional indulgences. A small daily portion of the right cheese becomes a consistent signal of nourishment. A daily habit of the wrong cheese becomes a consistent source of stress. Over years, these signals accumulate into very different outcomes. One path supports strength, clarity, and resilience. The other quietly accelerates decline. The way cheese is eaten also influences its impact. Small portions eaten slowly with awareness stimulate digestion properly. Saliva production increases, enzyme release is optimized. The body prepares to absorb nutrients. Large portions eaten quickly overwhelm these processes. The difference may seem small in the moment, but it compounds over time. Longevity is often described as a mystery, but much of it is built on simple principles repeated consistently. Reduce unnecessary stress. Provide adequate nourishment. Avoid overload. Small daily portions of the right cheese fit perfectly into this framework. They provide density without excess, pleasure without strain, and nourishment without chaos. The wrong cheese accelerates aging not because cheese itself is bad, but because it disrupts these principles. It creates metabolic noise. It increases cleanup work for the body. It pushes systems beyond what they can comfortably handle after 60. Aging accelerates when repair falls behind damage, and food choices play a central role in that balance. Another subtle but important point is how cheese affects sleep. After 60, sleep quality often declines, and digestion plays a bigger role than most people realize. Small portions of the right cheese, eaten earlier in the day, do not interfere with sleep. In some cases, they can even support nighttime stability by preventing blood sugar dips. Large portions or the wrong cheese eaten late in the day can disrupt sleep through indigestion, inflammation, or blood sugar fluctuations. Poor sleep accelerates aging faster than almost any dietary factor. When sleep suffers, hormone regulation, immune function, and cognitive health all decline. Daily choices shape nightly recovery. Small portions support it. Large, heavy portions interfere with it. Longevity is not about perfection. It's about alignment. When your food choices align with your body's current needs, aging slows naturally. Cheese, when chosen wisely and eaten in small amounts, aligns beautifully with the needs of an older body. It becomes a tool rather than a threat. The idea of daily is important here. Sporadic intake creates inconsistency. Small daily portions create rhythm. The body loves rhythm. Hormones regulate better. Digestion becomes more predictable. Energy levels stabilize. This rhythmic nourishment supports long-term health far more than occasional extremes. The wrong types of cheese disrupt rhythm. They create unpredictable digestive responses, fluctuating energy, and inconsistent inflammation. Over time, this lack of rhythm accelerates wear and tear on the system. Longevity is also psychological. Food should bring enjoyment without guilt or fear. Small portions of the right cheese provide pleasure without consequences. This reduces stress hormones, which themselves accelerate aging. Chronic stress ages the body faster than many dietary factors combined. When food becomes a source of internal conflict, the nervous system stays activated. When food becomes a source of calm nourishment, the nervous system relaxes. Small portions help maintain that balance. As people age, they often notice that tolerance decreases. Foods that once felt fine now cause discomfort. This is not weakness, it is feedback. Small portions respect that feedback. Large portions ignore it. The right cheese in the right amount becomes a supportive presence in the diet rather than a dominating one. It complements meals instead of defining them. It enhances nutrient absorption from other foods instead of competing with them. Over years, this pattern contributes to slower biological aging. Cells experience less oxidative stress, mitochondria function more efficiently, inflammation stays lower. These internal changes are not dramatic day to day, but they define how the body ages decade to decade. Accelerated aging rarely feels dramatic at first. It shows up as stiffness that lingers, fatigue that doesn't fully resolve, memory that feels slightly less sharp, recovery that takes a bit longer. The The wrong cheese contributes to these patterns quietly. The right cheese in small daily portions helps slow them just enough to matter. Longevity is built from many small decisions repeated consistently. Cheese is one of those decisions because it sits at the intersection of pleasure and nourishment. When handled wisely, it supports the body. When handled carelessly, it adds to the burden. Small daily portions are not about restriction. They are about precision, giving the body exactly what it can use, no more, no less. This precision becomes increasingly important after 60 when excess no longer disappears unnoticed. The right cheese becomes a concentrated source of support. The wrong cheese becomes concentrated stress. Time amplifies both effects. Aging is inevitable. Accelerated aging is not. The difference often lies in how daily habits interact with the body's changing capacity. Small daily portions of the right cheese respect that capacity. The wrong types push beyond it. When the body is respected, it responds with resilience. When it is pushed constantly, it responds with breakdown. Food choices, especially daily ones, send that message repeatedly. This is why the same food can be either supportive or harmful depending on type and quantity. Cheese is not the enemy. Excess and poor quality are. Small daily portions of the right cheese integrate into a longevity-focused lifestyle without drama. They become part of a system that supports strength, clarity, digestion, and recovery. The wrong cheese accelerates aging not because it is eaten once, but because it becomes habitual. Habitual stress creates habitual damage. Longevity is the result of habits that reduce friction inside the body. Small portions reduce friction. Quality reduces friction. Awareness reduces friction. When friction is low, the body ages more slowly, recovers more efficiently, and maintains function longer. The choice is not between eating cheese or avoiding it. The choice is between using cheese intentionally or letting it quietly work against you. Small daily portions of the right cheese support longevity because they align with the realities of the aging body, respect digestive capacity, stabilize metabolism, and reduce inflammation. The wrong types accelerate aging because they overload systems that are already working harder than they used to, increasing damage faster than repair can keep up. But when you switch to aged goat, sheep, and traditionally fermented cheeses, even in small amounts, your body starts working with you instead of against you. I've seen people reduce joint pain, improve digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and even feel mentally sharper just by making this one change. So the next time you open your fridge, pause for a second. Look at the cheese you're about to eat. Ask yourself, is this feeding my health or just my habit? If this video helped you see cheese differently, make sure you support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this with someone over 60 who still thinks all cheese is the same, because it's not. And the right choices today can change how strong, mobile, and energized you feel years from now.